Hey Freshies, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to the Fresh Talk. We're here at the Golden Mean Wellness Shop in downtown Kitchener. And in case you missed our last two episodes, we were also here interviewing Dr. Kristen Spark. And today we are here with nutritionist Holly Bradich.
Yay!
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for being on the
Thanks
show.
for joining.
Awesome.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice.
Yeah, so I am a registered nutritionist, and I have actually a degree in psychology and a degree in nutrition. So like we were saying, I guess you could,
You
like,
are a doctor.
I probably have almost as much like years as a doctor would have anyways. Yeah, so I'm all about kind of like the mind-body connection because of my psych background and the importance of that for nutrition. So I'm definitely someone who's not into like super strict diets and things like that and cleanses because it's not sustainable and it's not psychologically healthy. So that's why I named my business Mindful Vitality, because I want people to understand the psychological aspect of eating and how connected it is. Yeah, so my practice is here at the Golden Mean, and I mostly do people with like digestive issues, but more and more I'm kind of attracting people, I guess, that have like some kind of chronic pain. So I myself have chronic pain, fibromyalgia, if you guys are familiar with that at all. So I think kind of like what you experience, you kind of attract similar people, and like because I've lived it and I know how to deal with it and how to treat it from all the research that I've done. I think I'm attracting those people, so like I can help them, and I don't want them to have to go as long as I did without answers, right? So I think it's awesome that I'm kind of attracting those people into my work. So
The universe.
So we talked a lot with Kristen actually about gut health, but I really do want to hear your perspectives as well. As gut health is kind of becoming widely known as being very important, which is great. I'm glad there's like a lot of awareness that's coming about with gut health, as it's so important for our audience.
Our audience has returned for more. They couldn't get enough of our leaky gut the first time.
If only they knew what we were talking about. Yeah, so I mean, there's so many research studies that are coming out about how gut health is really related to so many other issues, like a lot of chronic pain disorders as well. So I just kind of wanted your spiel about gut health, what our viewers can do to improve their gut health in 2019, and maybe a few things they can do to improve their gut health.
I'm all about gut health because it's such a huge connection to mental health as well, and it's such a major issue in our society, and it's getting worse and worse. So I don't think a lot of people realize that there is such a huge connection there. And one of the reasons is because most of the neurotransmitters, which is like the brain chemicals, like serotonin, dopamine, all of those guys, they're actually made by the bacteria in your gut. Like I think it's 90% or so.
That's like new information.
And it gets transported to your brain, right? So if you don't have the right balance of certain bacteria in there making those, you're not going to get the right balance in your brain. So
that makes so much sense.
When they say it's a physical disease, it actually is. It's a physical disease. So. And that's one of the theories that they have now on depression and mental illness, is that it's like inflammation in the brain, and that's where the inflammation is coming from, is it's starting in the gut. So that's a huge thing for me. And like we were saying before, is how like food and nutrition is so connected to your psychology and your mental health, right? So if you're not in a good place mentally, you can't make those healthy choices. Like we all had days where it's like you're having the worst day ever and all you want to do is go home and eat like
comfort, something comforting
all day, right?
Because it's going to make you feel better.
And the reason we reach for those is because carbs help boost the serotonin and dopamine, like those feel-good chemicals in our brain. And so, that's gut health. So what we can do to improve it, let's talk about that for a minute. As Kristen mentioned, like fermented foods are super important. I usually try to recommend those before a probiotic, just because pretty much anyone can have fermented foods, and the reason that they're even better than probiotics a lot of the time is because they have, so the healthy bacteria is in there, but it also has acids and enzymes that are naturally produced during the fermentation process. And so it kind of gives you that extra digestive power. So if you're someone that eats a meal and it just feels like it just sits there
sitting there,
it's not going anywhere, you need those acids and those enzymes to really help move things along. So that's a huge tip. And then in terms of probiotics, I do think there's a place for them, but I think Kristen we have her on the same wavelength about this, is depends on the person's health situation. So if they have like an ulcer or colitis or something where they're like, or a leaky gut, where their gut is kind of permeable in any way, you don't want to really be taking probiotics, because this means that bacteria is getting into your bloodstream and it's not supposed to be there. Right. So even though it is healthy bacteria, you really shouldn't be having that. Yeah. So basically anyone that's, has gut issues like that or is immunocompromised in any way, it's not really the greatest option. But everyone else can certainly benefit. The only other situation I would say would be like if you had something called SIBO, which I think Kristen also talked about. Yeah, and I myself have dealt with that and have treated a lot of patients with that too. So it's basically an overgrowth of bacteria in your small intestine. And it's not actually supposed to be much bacteria, if any, there. It's supposed to all be like lower, right? So that can often happen if you have had digestive issues for years and maybe like a lot of constipation, or if you've been on a lot of antacids, like prescription strength antacids, which doctors love to give out. I was on those for years. I feel like it's like gum in America. They're like, here, you want one? Oh, you Anybody want a piece of gum? Yeah. You want an antacid? You can buy the one I used to be prescription when I got it. It's now over the counter. You have to ask the pharmacist to grab it for you. So I'm just like, and people don't understand the long-term consequences of these.
Because it fixes a short-term problem. So why would you worry?
That instant fix,
right? What they want to eat and take that.
Yeah.
So that's like, guess what though? Whatever you're eating is not getting digested and absorbed because now you have no stomach acid to break it down. So it's going into your gut like undigested and rotting there. And it's just like causing this whole huge host of problems. So anyways, back to the SIBO, like that's how that can get started. It's one of the ways anyways, because you have no acid and stuff there, so any bacteria that's coming in, and there's bacteria everywhere, right? It's just gonna like sit in your gut and start growing and fermenting because there's no acid in your stomach to kill it off. So that's
a terrible picture in my head right now.
It's really vivid.
I'm like picturing it for what it is, and I'm like, that's terrible.
I'm gonna change my decision of what I'm getting on the way.
So that's where I really love to give out like a lot of digestive enzymes too. I do that more so than a probiotic would be my go-to, especially if someone's getting that like heavy, gross feeling after a meal. It's just to help you like really break things down, especially if you have been on antacids or things where you're no stomach acid left. And that's, I think someone was talking about apple cider vinegar before.
We were talking about it,
That's like, I mean, it's fermented, which is awesome, but it's also giving you more of that acid that you need, right? That's why it really helps. So
I think I need to get back on it. I really should. There's many reasons to like beat my chest and like pump myself up.
But definitely mix it with some water or whatever.
I chase it with orange juice to just like get it
quite
done.
acidic and actually can burn your esophagus.
Well, it's not good for your teeth either.
Your teeth,
That's why I shoot it. Should I not be shooting it? Like I literally put it in a shot glass and I would throw it back because that's. I just wanted to get it quickly.
I just put it in a smoothie.
I've done that too. I've done that too.
I like the bite.
Yeah.
Gary does not.
See, mine is so subdued. If I put it in a smoothie, I'm kind of like, did I even put enough? Like, was it even worth it?
You can't feel the burn.
Exactly.
I love it. I'm like, I want that like tartness.
Okay, so just quickly then, if I shouldn't be shooting it, that's just, I guess my natural inclination is to shoot things. Just take some show and break on the show.
Let's make sure people don't think like any other shot other than like a liquid shot, like.
Yes. What other shots are you thinking?
You're not shooting. You're like,
no.
Like a good
beverages
shot.
only.
Let's go with
that. You're not shooting anything but beverages.
Beverages. Clarify that for the audience.
So you probably should dilute it a little bit with water.
But I need to get it like. I need to take it quickly because I'll gag at the, if the taste lingers too long, which is why I shot it. So smoothie or
shoot
it
in
tea, like ginger tea.
If I dilute it and shoot it, is that okay?
Dilute
it. All you gotta do is trademark.
That's amazing.
Oh goodness. Okay, I'll dilute and see
as long as you're not shooting hot tea, because that would burn your breath.
No, bad
Let it cool first.
So these fermented foods, like one of them is pickles. So if you can
back to the pickles.
I said these episodes are a week apart because I'm really hoping people are like, She's got a pickle problem.
She's a little.
Pregnant.
You're pregnant. You're supposed to like
Yes.
pickles.
Yeah.
But like,
Peanut
you go to
butter.
the grocery store, you just pick up a thing of gherkins, and that's a fermented food. Like,
That's why I always
like,
have to
what
tell
do I-
people, yes, good point.
Yeah.
So anything that's found on the shelf at the grocery store is not going to be beneficial for your gut. It's not overly bad for you. It's just
Yeah.
not going to have that like
Where are the
fermentation
pickles?
process, right? They're in the fridge. So you won't find them
Oh,
in
I
like
see.
the regular section in the grocery store. You have to go to like the healthy organic section.
And they'll be
Get those
refrigerated.
pickles.
Yeah, or a health food store will have
So
them
if they're
too.
refrigerated pickles.
Yes. And literally the ingredients
That's
should be like cucumber, dill,
Pickled.
water,
Yeah.
salt.
Okay.
Like there
They've
shouldn't
been
be any
pickled,
vinegar,
yeah.
no vinegar added. It produces its own vinegar as
Oh,
it
there should
ferments.
not be vinegar.
No.
Because that's the
Okay.
whole process of it,
Okay.
pickling, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are some
fermentation.
fermented foods like kombucha that can be like left because it's left
No.
out as it.
Kombucha's raw. I don't think it can be.
I've only ever had it refrigerated.
Well,
is there?
in the process
When
of
it's
making it,
because
okay,
the
okay.
fermentation requires room temperature in order for
I
it
see,
to
yeah.
to grow.
Yeah,
when
but
you
once
go
it's
and buy
done,
it would be refrigerated.
yeah, it has to be refrigerated after.
What about, this is such a side note, what about beer? I was going back to like my Beer Town test where I
What
had
is
to
an
write out the
alcohol
fermentation
problem?
process of beer. It was like guys, it was like, I'd write 4 tests when I
For
worked there.
working at Beer Town?
I love Beer Town, and they
Yeah.
make sure their servers are knowledgeable. Not
that's
sponsored
awesome.
by Beer Town. Just, but I remember the fermentation process like so
Yeah.
clearly. Is there of any benefit because it's fermented?
I think it's
I'm
pretty
really
filtered.
trying to give the world a win
No,
right
I think
now.
it's pretty filtered.
Okay,
So
Sorry,
yeah,
guys,
I mean,
tried.
technically all alcohol, like vodka and gin and all
Yeah.
that's fermented too, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like they always say it's like triple distilled, it's filtered and filtered and filtered, right? So all of that stuff
It
is
kind of
filtered
negates
out of
the
it.
ferment. Yeah.
If
okay.
it was like a true ferment, that's why you see in kombucha, if you pick it up, you
yes,
see like
it's
the
there
chunks
at the
and
bottom.
the
Yeah. I know, I love
the
it.
mother, like they see in apple cider vinegar, the mother. It's
Yes.
like, yeah. It's kind of gross looking, but that's what's produced
Yeah.
and that's part of the fermentation process. So if
Yeah.
you're not seeing that, which you wouldn't see in beer, I would
Right.
hope not, then it's not going to have that benefit. So.
That grossness that
Yeah.
you see in the kombucha, like I remember the first time I had kombucha, I was
Yeah.
like, what is this slimy stuff?
I know.
Yeah.
But like, it grows on you.
You hardly notice it.
Literally,
after a
give
while.
it a
Yeah. It grows on you.
Yes, and then on the topic of kombucha, it is good because it's fermented, but I think as you guys were talking before, like some of them have a ton of sugar, so you really have
Yes.
to watch that. Try to find the lowest sugar ones possible.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to keep an eye out.
Yes.
Yeah, Robin, what's your question for Holly?
So I can't do dairy, and so
Yeah.
I'm concerned about osteoporosis and a deficiency as I get older. What
Yeah.
can I do?
Good question. Yeah, so there's that misconception, I think, which is promoted by the food guide,
Yeah.
that you have to
Yes.
have dairy in order to get calcium. But there's calcium in a lot of different foods. The main difference is it won't be quite as high of a dose, say like a glass of milk compared to some spinach. Like it's not going to have as much, obviously. But if you're careful and you pay attention to what you're eating and checking out serving sizes and stuff, so like you can do spinach, you can do canned salmon, things like that. And then all the alternative milks, right? So they're all
Okay, yeah.
fortified these days. So like almond milk, coconut milk, whatever your preference is. Again, like just watching for the sugar probably too, but those will all have calcium and all the essential like vitamins added to it. So that would be your best bet. And don't let them tell you that you have to have dairy because
Oh, I stopped believing that
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's sponsored by the dairy farmer.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
What
So,
alternative
yeah.
are you using for milk right
Coconut.
now? Coconut.
I do
Okay.
unsweetened.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like
That's what I
basic.
usually do too.
And I've started even doing like the canned coconut. That's just like the coconut milk and the water. And
Yeah.
I actually love it.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Bless you. Aww. Those are the cutest little sneeze. She was like, I'm pregnant. Get away from me.
Oh yeah. You go for spinach though, I guess in the raw form, how much would you need?
That's a good question.
Like,
Okay,
really?
like,
Okay,
Oh,
think about
Vitamix
it.
Yeah.
full.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot.
Compared, yeah,
Compare.
to get like your daily dose is supposed to be, I think it's 1,200-ish for adults.
Yeah, I don't
So you're probably would
Milligrams.
need, milligrams per day. So you'd probably need several large salads, which most people wouldn't eat. And again, like as Kristen was saying, you want to eat seasonally, so you probably shouldn't
Yeah.
be mowing massive spinach
Spinach,
salads all winter,
yeah,
but you can
spinach
have cooked
binge.
spinach. But yeah, you really just have to keep an eye on like just read labels. But yeah, if you're doing the milk, the fortified milks, then having a couple glasses of that will really get you quite far towards that goal. And then if you think you're not getting enough still and you're concerned, then you can do a supplement. So that's another option. Yeah. But what most people don't realize, they think bone health is all just about getting calcium, but they don't realize that you really have to do the weight-bearing exercise to really strengthen your bones too. And you guys are probably prime examples because I'm guessing you're under 30, most of you. Yes.
All of us.
There you go.
4 out of 5 of us are under 30. Guess which one's not? It's Aisha.
Well, apparently.
That's okay.
Yeah, somebody told me in Marshall's the other day, somebody asked if I was the mother of my sister.
Oh, you're kidding.
Must have been having a bad day or tired day.
Wow.
But yeah, anyway, so peak bone health, it's formed during your 20s, and then once you hit 30, it kind of goes downhill, and like you can kind of solidify a little bit more between 30 and 40, but and then after that you do lose some every year as you age, so that's why it's super important to have also like the muscle mass. So if you do, like older people have a fall, the reason they're so bad is because they're not just falling, if they don't have the muscle mass to support them, they're breaking their hip, and now they're stuck in a wheelchair and they just go downhill, right? So these are the things I think about as a
there
petite
really is
person.
so much more to it,
So if my mom is retired and she goes to the gym on the treadmill, I should get her to do weights, like some weights.
Yes, so cardio is good for your general health, but doing some weights a couple times a week is really helpful. Not necessarily like, definitely start out slow. Like I always tell to get one of those bands or like little like 2 or 5 pound weights. You don't want to hurt yourself, right? By like, I'm going to go do what that guy's doing and lift like bench press 100 pounds. Who wants to spot me? Like, no, that's not.
Boys at Good Life.
Yeah. You have to do that every time you lift it. You go, and then throw it. Make sure you make a dent on the floor. Yeah.
That's what I look like when I work
And that's the thing too. Like, don't let those people like discourage you or make you feel uncomfortable from going to the
what
weight
you're
section.
doing at your own pace is good for
like,
you.
I used to feel that way when I first started going to the gym, and I was like, okay, look at me, I'm this like tiny little thing, and all I can lift, I think, is like 20 pounds or something. Yeah. And I feel like they were judging me, and I'm like, you know what? Even if they are, who cares? Like, I think they look ridiculous, actually, these big muscular guys.
Judge me.
Exactly. So, or if you really don't feel comfortable, like just get some small ones. You can get them anywhere, like Walmart. Or do that at home.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not necessarily good, especially as you age, and if you're prone to osteoporosis, to be weight bearing a ton of weight.
Yeah,
right.
It's not
you want to go
resistance
slow.
band exercises are awesome.
Yeah.
Even just squats, like simple
planks.
Balance exercises, like lunges, or just like standing on one foot and kind of rocking your weight back and forth using your own body weight.
Yoga.
Yeah, yoga. It's sometimes more helpful.
Yes, exactly. So there's actually, I don't know if you guys have heard of seed cycling.
Oh, no. Yes, I've never heard of this. What is this?
You have different seeds depending on where you
are in your cycle. So the first, okay, let me see if I can get it right.